We're joined now on the Damage Report by David Dennis Jr., Senior Culture Editor, Interactive One. David, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here, although I wish we had happier news to talk about. There's a few different things I want to get into, and I'm very interested in your perspective. So first on Jussie Smollett, we're still learning things day by day, more of the cases developing, but at this point, what are your thoughts about this entire saga?
It's bizarre. It's one of the more bizarre news stories that I can think of. We have a actor in one of the biggest TV shows around, maybe fabricating a story, being charged of fabricating a story that is based on very true hate crimes that happen, based on very real racist sentiments in this country. And we have a Chicago Police Department that is known for botching these sort of investigations, that is continuing to botch this investigation.
It certainly looks that way. Now, as each development has come out, people have been very quick to attempt to amplify what it means. And coincidentally, it always seems to confirm what they already believed about culture and race relations and all that. You wrote a piece recently in News One about some of the things that you think that we have not learned from this experience. Could you describe those for our audience?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, a lot of the stuff that's happening is just confirming a lot of our biases that are already out there. What we have not learned is that people will use this as a way to sort of go against or disbelieve a lot of the statements when people claim that these things actually happen. We learned that. I mean, we will see the next time that there is claim of a hate crime, they will bring up Jussie Smollett and they will say that, well, he lied, who else is lying? We have also, seen a very interesting debate about black men's role in all of this. There's been some who say black men are not allies enough. There are some that say we need to step up and do more. When the fact is, we do see instances of, especially when things like this happen in the black community with LGBT people, they don't have allies in black men like they would like or like they need. So a lot of this is a lot of stuff that we already have confirmed, that we already know about. The problem is that it's all being based around hearsay and he say, she say at this point.
And in your piece, you also describe how you were initially skeptical about some of the details of the story. Why was that?
Well, I mean, it just all seemed very weird that Jussie Smollett would go at 2 a.m. in the middle of a negative 20 degree to grab a Subway, and there were two guys who just happened to be there with bleach and nooses waiting on him. And as more information came out, the story got a little bit more bizarre. We see that the two men who are prime suspects are Nigerian men. They knew him. We have video of them buying hate crime starter kits at the store. So it's all just really bizarre. I am skeptical of Jussie, but at the same time, what needs to be expressed here is that I'm just as skeptical of the Chicago Police Department. They have a history of shady investigations. We know about the Laquan McDonald situation, where it took them forever to even arrest or bring charges to the police officer who murdered this young man, but they were able to turn around this Jussie investigation in about a week or so. So, they have had as much of their stories retracted as Jussie's stories. I mean, at first they were saying that the check for $3,500 was for the staged assault. Then they had to back off of that. They said that Jussie made up his own hate letter. They had to back off of that. So it's possible that they could be right that he lied, but what is clear is that they have botched it and they put out a lot of misinformation, which is par for the course for the Chicago Police Department.
Hey, David, I saw first, I have been just like long thought that there was nothing skeptical, nothing, at all about his story that didn't seem plausible to me. But I also saw in your piece that when you admitted like a little skepticism that you kept it quiet, almost that you felt like you had a responsibility to not say that. Why is that?
Well, I had to check my privilege as a cishet black man. A lot of times in these instances, we will rush to defend straight black men when these things happen, right? When we think about Mike Brown, when we think about Trayvon Martin, we are quick to throw out police evidence. We're quick to throw out testimonies in solidarity with our own folks. And so I had to wonder, am I looking at this gay man who is experiencing this hate crime and I being skeptical because I'm a straight black man? So I had to really think about that and think about where my privilege falls within the whole story. Despite the fact that I'm pretty confident thinking that I looked at it objectively, but at the same time, I wanted to sort of make sure that I was being fair to the parties involved.
So I believe the last time you were actually on the show, we were talking about some initial impressions from the release of the Surviving R. Kelly docuseries. And just last week, there was a gigantic development where he faces now 10 counts of aggravated sexual abuse. When that news broke, how did you react to it?
About time, it's about time. This has been going on for, as the documentary explains, it's been going on for 2 decades. His first trial was 15 years ago. It is about time. It looks like, knock on wood, this might be it for him, but you never know. Again, going back to the Jussie Smollett case, there's the Chicago Police Department, there's the Chicago law enforcement. They have the ability to botch any case. So I'm hoping that they have enough to really nail this down. I mean, they had enough before, but I hope that this really has R. Kelly finding justice.
Do you think that this arrest would have ever happened without Dream Hamptons docuseries? Do you think we would have seen, this? It's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, no, I think that the docuseries was integral in getting R. Kelly arrested. I think that it was necessary. I think that without that series, R. Kelly might have just lived the rest of his life abusing these women and until he died. And it's sad to say that it takes something like that that is a grassroots effort from the victims, from advocates of these black women to sort of make this happen.
While we were talking about the initial impressions of the documentary and why, some of the reasons that he was able to get away with this with basically no consequences for so long, one of the cultural aspects we talked about was how easy it is apparently for mainstream American culture to hear that a victim is a black female and just ignore it, to not care, not think that justice is necessary. Do you have any hopes that if he does end up in jail, that we might be starting to see a shift in that?
I would hope so, but you gotta, as we mentioned, you gotta remember, like it took a 6-part primetime docuseries that was the top trending topic on Twitter to get a man to even get arrested for something that he's been doing for 25 years. So the bar is on the floor right now in terms of justice for black women. I would hope that we can find a place in society where it does not take all of that for black women to find retribution for the wrongs that are done to them.
I was also hoping to get your reaction to last night at the Oscars. The Best Picture award went to, shockingly, The Green Book. And
shockingly,
I was shocked at the time. I did not think that was going to happen. And many people were not happy about it. How did you react to that news?
I was not shocked. Speaking of the bar being on the floor, my bar for award shows, namely the Oscars, namely the Grammys, are so far on the floor that I had no hopes for, for instance, like Cardi B or Kendrick Lamar winning the Grammys. I had no hopes for Black Panther or Black Klansman winning. I was for sure that Green Book was going to win. I should have put money on it in Vegas because Hollywood loves the narratives of racial reconciliation without having to really reckon with black trauma or the problems with that. Mm-hmm. They love a white savior story. They love the idea that there was a kumbaya issue with race, and they were rewarded. We have seen this with Driving Miss Daisy, and the list goes on and on. Green Book, as people are saying, is the worst movie to win Best Picture since Crash, which was another kumbaya racial reconciliation movie. On the bright side, movies like Black Panther do not need Oscars. It's a high-grossing movie. It was a cultural phenomenon. The Black Panther does not lose anything by not getting the Oscar. The Oscar loses credibility by giving an award to Green Book.
I agree. And any reaction to Spike Lee being recognized at long last?
Again, it's about time. But again, like the fact is that them giving Spike Lee his first Oscar in 2019 is more of a reflection of the Oscars itself and less a reflection of Spike Lee. He is long overdue for Malcolm X, for Do the Right Thing, for his long history of great movies. It's a bad look for the Oscars. I'm happy for Spike. I'm happy he got it, but for any award to be awarding the first Black anything in 2019 is really a bad reflection on that award.
Yeah. Well, David Dennis Jr., thank you so much for joining us. We're always glad to hear your perspective.
Thanks, David.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.